It's a topic being debated nationwide: physician-assisted suicide. The state of New Jersey just on Friday became the seventh state to allow terminally ill patients to end their lives after Governor Phil Murphy signed the Aid in Dying for the Terminal Act last week. And now New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says he would support similar legislation.
I say pass the bill. It's a controversial issue. It's a difficult issue, but the older we get and the better medicine gets, the more we've seen people suffer for too long.
But is this a solution? Let's bring in a panel to discuss. Kristen Hansen is a community relations advocate for the Patients' Right Action Fund. Her husband, JJ, died of brain cancer and was opposed to assisted suicide. She joins us today from down in Florida. And then Tom Shakely is the Chief Engagement Officer at Americans United for Life and a member of the American Society for Bioethics and Humanities. And Dennis Vacco is a former New York State Attorney General who argued a landmark assisted suicide case before the Supreme Court. So, you know what, Dennis, let's start with you first. What do you make of the fact that Governor Cuomo is now saying, yeah, let's pass this bill, I'll sign it?
Well, good morning, Steve, and thanks for having me. But I think the governor says it all when he says that this is a complicated and difficult issue. But it's a complicated and difficult issue that is not solved by physician-assisted suicide. I think that it's wrong policy. The Supreme Court in 1997 in the Vacco versus Quill, which is the case that I argued, determined that there was no constitutionally protected right to physician-assisted suicide. The Supreme Court did say that the body politic, the laboratories of the states, the legislatures across the United States should decide this issue. And interestingly, since 1997, 22 years, only 7 states have embraced this concept. And I think that's because it's just simply wrong-headed policy.
Right. And we've got a screen that shows the states that have passed assisted suicide. Tom, you see politics here with Governor Cuomo, don't you?
Well, there's no question. You know, just recently, Governor Cuomo lit up the World Trade Center pink to celebrate the ending of infant human life. And now it seems like he's transitioning as if he wants to light the World Trade Center black to celebrate the ending of adult life. You know, this isn't ultimately about medicine. The American Medical Association has been clear on this. Their code of medical ethics opposes physician-assisted suicide. It says it's fundamentally incompatible with the physician's role as healer. Right. And so this isn't a medical issue. The root is suicide. It's not about assistance. Right. It's not about nice words. And it's not about recognizing medical realities. It's politics interfering with medicine at the end of the day. Kristen, this is very personal to you. Your husband, JJ, died of brain cancer. How do you feel about this decision where people, if they had the right, could take their own lives?
You know, JJ and I decided to become involved in the issue because of what we went through. And we saw, going through that experience, how dangerous assisted suicide is for patients like JJ. We were so grateful it was not legal in New York at the time he was diagnosed. We saw that doctors make mistakes. JJ was told he only had 4 months to live by 3 different doctors. We were given no hope. And JJ went on, and he had success with treatment. He went on to live almost 4 years. But we also saw that if JJ had those pills on his nightstand during the 5th month where he was really struggling emotionally and physically, he might have taken them. And he said, you can't undo that. These laws abandon vulnerable patients like JJ who struggle with feelings of being a burden and worrying that it would be easier for everyone if they end their life. If we look at Oregon, the state that has this legalized the longest in the United States, pain and suffering never makes it into the top 5 reasons why patients request assisted suicide. The top 3 reasons are fear of being a burden, loss of autonomy, and the inability to enjoy activities they could once participate in. Those are very valid end-of-life issues, but assisted suicide doesn't solve that. We shouldn't be abandoning patients at their most vulnerable moment. But the scariest thing for us with JJ was that these policies open the doors wide open for insurance companies to deny patients coverage for the care that they want and deserve, and to offer the cheaper option of assisted suicide.
I hadn't thought about that. Dennis?
Steve, so that's a point that I made before the Supreme Court. that in an age of managed care, and now we're into an age of potential government control of our health care, at the end of the day, it's just simply cheaper to provide that lethal drug as opposed to treating. And I think Chris hits the nail on the head. We need to do more to treat the pain. Nobody wants to see anybody, loved ones, suffering, but we need to do a better job of palliative care, treating the pain, treating the depression that leads to suicidal ideation.
Okay.
Those are the goals that we should be achieving.
Tom, I'll give you the final word.
Yeah, we can trust our physicians on this. Physicians are able to rise to this challenge, even in the worst cases, the most challenging cases. Our physicians in this country are excellent, even if our healthcare system struggles, even if our political system struggles to represent and to recognize what's good.
Well, let's see what the state of New York does. New Jersey passed it on Friday. Kristen, Tom, and Dennis, thank you very much for your points of view.
Thank you.
Thank you.